נציג, שליח של ממשלת ארצות הברית, שגריר אילן קאר. מר קאר מבין מה שאני אומר. הוא יהודי ממורשת, אני אגיד כפולה, כמוני, חצי, אשקפרד. במקרה של השגריר קאר יש סיפור בעצם מדהים, סיפור קצר לגלות מי הוא. הוא היה שופט בצבא האמריקאי, אבל הרבה שנים לפני זה הסבא שלו לא היה שופט אלא נשפט. שפטו את הסבא שלו בהפרעות אנטישמיות בעיראק, דנו אותו לעונש חמור, ושנים אחרי זה הוא בעצמו הגיע עם צבא אמריקאי לעיראק, ובארמון של סדאם חוסיין סידר והדליק נרות חנוכה. זה בן האדם שנשיא ארצות הברית דונלד טראמפ בחר יחד עם מר פומפאו שיבוא בסביבות העולם לחפש שליח מיוחד במלחמה נגד האנטישמיות. כבוד גדול להזמין את השגריר אילן קאר. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll repeat it in English just in case you prefer to hear it again. It is a great honor to invite Ambassador Elan Carr, Special Envoy of the United States, in his role as Special Envoy against anti-Semitism, or in the fight against anti-Semitism, in the documentation of anti-Semitism. I just would like to mention a little vignette. His grandfather, he comes from mixed Ashkenazi Sephardi heritage. His grandfather was once judged, imprisoned in Iraq, you say? Yeah. During anti-Semitic, heavily anti-Semitic periods. And many years later, Ambassador Carr came himself to Iraq as part of the US Army where he was a judge. And it was his initiative, he came and lit Hanukkah candles in the palace of Saddam Hussein. It's my pleasure to present Ambassador Carr. Please. Pleasure to get to know you.
Toda rabba. Thank you, Rabbi. Kvod Harav Hanasi Goldschmidt, Kvod HaRabbanim, Kvod HaChazan. Wow, how about the Miller family? How amazing are they? Even the young Miller. I wish I could sing like that. It is a special honor for me to be here with you because you really are the spiritual leaders of our people. I've spoken before audiences throughout the world, certainly throughout the United States and throughout the world. And some of those audiences have been Jewish leaders, but never the rabbinical leaders of our people. Those who truly are charged with fighting the fight to keep our people Jewish, to keep Torah u'Mesorah, where's the slogan? Torah u'Masoret, despite all the challenges. And that's why it's such a special pleasure to be here with you. Although Rabbi Goldschmidt, can't be easy. Can't be easy. Yeah, there's this famous story about when Ben-Gurion came to visit Lyndon Johnson, and at that time America had 250 million people, Israel only 5. And Ben-Gurion said what a difficult job it is to be leader of Israel. And Lyndon Johnson said, what are you talking about? I'm the president of 250 million people. And the prime minister said, yes, but I'm the prime minister over 5 million prime ministers. And so you're the president over hundreds of rabbis. But I bring you greetings from my president, the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and my boss, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, who landed a few hours ago in Belgium. I had the privilege of meeting him at the airport and welcoming him to this country. And I can tell you something. The United States is the most philo-Semitic country in the history of the world. And it's no coincidence that the most philo-Semitic country in the history of the world is also the most powerful country in the history of the world. It is perhaps because of metaphysics, because of godliness, or because of values. But that is not a coincidence. And in American history, we have never had a President of the United States and a Secretary of State that are committed in unprecedented fashion to the Jewish people, to the fight against anti-Semitism in the world, and to support of the State of Israel. Never before have we had something like that. And so what an honor it is for me to represent my country, but also this administration committed singularly and unprecedentedly to this great fight for Am Yisrael throughout the world. I appear before you today, and I don't have to tell you this, in a moment of crisis. Anti-Semitism is on the rise throughout the world. Even in the United States, like I said, the most philo-Semitic country ever, even in the United States, Jews have been attacked in Crown Heights. Vandalism has appeared in New York and in Los Angeles, of all places. And Jews have been murdered on Shabbatot in synagogues. In Pittsburgh, in San Diego, I represented the administration at the funeral of Lori Kay, Zichronah Livracha, in San Diego. And we throw up our hands and ask how it's possible. The college campuses in the United States are aflame with anti-Israel, anti-Semitism. And then here in Europe, as you know very well, we have a confluence of sources of anti-Semitic hatred, from the ultra-right supremacist, ethnic supremacist movements, to the ultra-left anti-Israel, anti-Zionist movements, to radical Islam. Movements that should hate each other far more than they hate anything else, and yet united in this age-old sickness of humanity known as anti-Semitism. What President Trump so accurately calls the vile poison of anti-Semitism. A vile poison it is because it is not only about the Jews. Anti-Semitism is history's greatest barometer of human misery, and every society that has imbibed this poison has rotted to its core and produced human suffering at a level that defies description. That is the history of this hatred. And so we see the far supremacist extreme right, the far anti-Zionist left, radical Islam, and then in the midst of it all, we have these disgraceful pieces of legislation that ban shchita, that now contemplate banning Brit Milah. Well, let me tell you what this is. This is nothing other than a forced expulsion of the Jewish community from the countries that adopt such legislation. A forced expulsion. And it is intolerable. It is intolerable. And so I now am charged with fighting on behalf of the United States this ancient hatred. And I'm happy to report that we are confronting it in every capital and on every campus. We are fighting the anti-Semitism that disguises itself as anti-Israel hatred, and we are fighting the anti-Semitism that makes no effort to disguise what it is. We will do it everywhere. We will do it in Europe. And yes, we will do it in the Arab world as well, where, by the way, we have more opportunities to make gains today thanks to the Iranian threat than ever before. But I want to talk about you. I want to talk about what we need from you. Because let me tell you something. I get to fight anti-Semitism and to fight it with the full weight of the United States of America. And that's not too bad. But to beat this ancient hatred, metaphysically to win this war, not even the United States acting alone can do that. To win this, we need perhaps the most elusive asset of all, and that is Jewish unity. Achdut Am Yisrael, the most elusive asset. You know, we are in the middle of counting the Omer, at the midpoint, almost exactly at the midpoint. And the journey of the Omer is nothing other than a journey into unity. When we were liberated from Egypt, we were liberated physically from slavery. But it took 49 days for the Jewish people to be ready for Matan Torah at Sinai. To come together not as slaves, but as free Jews who embrace each other. And come to that journey from fragmentation and rebellion and slavery to Ish Echad Belev Echad, as the Jewish people stood before Mount Sinai. And we just read in Parashat Kedoshim, just 2 days ago, the commandment, Lo tisna et achicha belevavecha. And the rabbis asked, what does that mean, Lo tisna achicha belevavecha? It's not enough to say, Lo tisna achicha. And the meaning is simply this. The Torah is saying in no uncertain terms that it is not enough to refrain from hatred of our fellows that is expressed and manifested. No, no. Belevavecha. Even a hatred that is not spoken, even a hatred that is not manifest, is unacceptable. Even when it is only in our heart of hearts, we are forbidden to hate our fellows. And then, just in case we didn't get the message, one pasuk later, what does it say? Ve'ahavta. That's right. Ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, one pasuk later. And so it is not only enough not to hate our fellows. It is not only enough not to hate our fellows silently. But ve'ahavta le'reacha kamocha, love your brother as you love yourself. My friends, I don't have to tell you this. The Jewish people are in a state of fragmentation. Etgarei hazman. One of those great challenges is the fact that we are divided today. That Jew stands against Jew. How many times do we see movements against the Jewish people led by Jews? When Jews stand up against the state of Israel, or stand up against Jewish unity, or stand up against Jewish survival or Jewish interests. You are the key to this problem. You, the spiritual leaders who stand aloft congregations throughout Europe and throughout the world, who help Jews redefine Judaism, who do keruv, who make us rediscover our passion and our love for Am Yisrael. You hold your fingers on the pulse of exactly what we need today. And so, Kvod HaRabbanim, I say let us go forward together, shoulder to shoulder. Let us fight these challenges, the challenges from the enemy without and the challenges from within, so that we can build a Jewish future together, a future of Torah, a future of Masoret, a future of Jewish identity, a future of godliness, a future truly of Achdut Am Yisrael, Ahavat Yisrael, so that we can do Tikkun Olam B'Malchut Shaddai and build that better future that our children and that our grandchildren so desperately deserve. Thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for your partnership.
pas te strikken door. Dat is ook een probleem. En nou de lozen. Dan zie je me dus geen probleem. Dan zie je iets.